All right, lot going on in football, not just Jalen Hurts being Mr. Monopoly. It's time for football today. David. I'd like to start this one. By the way, David, I think it would be great for the audience to tell everybody, when did Gene Steratore begin selling shoes? Can you comment on your kicks today?
Called comfortable footwear that you have to wear when you're coaching, Mike.
No, I know, but you're going to look like Vince Lombardi. He has on.
As my team wins.
I know. David, these shoes look like they are NFL officials. Where did you get them?
They are very comfortable. I bought them from a store. That's where you get shoes from, a store. Let's start here with Jalen Hurts.
Those are rough.
Jalen Hurts started the day. You know what, you guys? He is much richer today, but
Yes.
It almost didn't happen. There's
Really?
a report here from Ian Rappaport that suggests Russell Wilson was almost traded to two other teams, not to Denver. One team, the Washington Commanders. The other team, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Really?
Both teams almost traded for Russell Wilson. Your thoughts?
The Commanders makes total sense because it's a bad organization and they were desperate. But Hurts led them to the playoffs. Now they got blasted by the Bucs, but cheap deal. TJ, that shocks me. The Eagles don't get the wool pulled over their eyes very often.
Yeah.
Wow.
Disaster averted, I guess, right?
And Denver's like, wow, can we redo this now? And send him to Philadelphia instead.
Oh, no.
I'm still shocked that Sean Payton took that job. Stunned.
Well, coaches sometimes have big egos, Mike. I know you hear that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And every coach probably looks at a guy like Russ Wilson and says, I can fix him. I'm going to be the guy that fixes him.
He's such a weirdo.
Also a valid point.
Oh, more and more and more is coming out with the Arizona Cardinals here because it was reported on Friday that Budda Baker had gotten rid of all the team-related pictures, names, everything. Well, apparently he requested a trade back in February. He is due $13 million this year, $14 million in 2024. So that tells you if he requested his trade back in February, of course, they don't have to trade you, but he's not going anywhere.
Well, the problem for them is that I view the Bucs and the Cardinals, TJ, the same way. They should both be burning it to the ground. In the case of the Cardinals, you had Steve Kimes fired, Kingsbury fired. Everyone hates the QB, and he's dead. Oh, and the owner's getting accused of cheating. Zach Allen leaves in free agency. DeAndre Hopkins said, peace out. And now Budda Baker wants out. Burn it down. Use it as a gap year. You're not going to try to win. Your quarterback's dead.
Yeah.
Get the salary cap right. Let's get some capital. Let's build this thing for tomorrow. And instead, they've done this weird just hold the line routine. I'm shocked by it. Same thing with the Bucs. Brady leaves. I would have burnt it to the ground. I would have just started all over, tried to get in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. And here they are. They're signing Baker. They didn't trade Vita Vea. They didn't trade Devin White. They brought back Levante David for a 10-minute deal.
Yeah, trying to rerun it one more year.
What are we doing here? What do you make?
That's the fatal mistake that a lot of teams make. They put off the rebuild. They keep putting it off, think, hey, no, we're going to compete. We're going to be okay. Maybe if you're the Arizona Cardinals, you got to be realistic too. Look at the division you play in. You're not beating San Francisco twice. Right. You're probably not beating Seattle twice, right? I think the Rams we expect to be better. With a lot of their stars hopefully coming back healthier, right? Stafford, Kupp, Aaron Donald, guys that missed a lot of times last year. So I'm with you. If you're the Cardinals, sometimes you got to swallow your pride and say, you know what? It's going to take a couple years. Let's go ahead, reset the system a little bit. I know it's always hard to move on from really good players, but sometimes that's what's necessary.
Yeah, but when those players don't love you back, it's easy.
When a player requests a trade, it seems – I know teams don't have to trade them, but it seems the odds of them coming back and giving you everything they got and being the team guy and the leader, those go down a whole lot.
I think the best part of this, David, was Steve Kimes, the former GM, who got fired, is talking about why it's hard to move DeAndre Hopkins. And he goes, well, the player's age and that huge contract.
You gave it to him.
Yeah, Steve, let me check my notes. You gave him that contract.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve.
Cardinal. Oh, man, what a mess of an organization.
And it's sad, too, because it's one of the great places to live in the league.
Yeah. Owners using burner phones, allegedly.
Yikes.
Yeah.
David.
So let's segue right into this because I'm pretty sure Baker won't, Buda Baker won't show up to voluntary workouts. They're voluntary, but I want to ask you, a former NFL player, Saquon's not showing up, Josh Jacobs isn't showing up, Danielle Hunter isn't showing up, Evan Ingram not showing up. All want new deals for their team. Voluntary off-season workouts. Does it even matter? Do they have any leverage here? Does it say anything to the team? It's voluntary.
Yeah, no, I think to make real change or get what you really want, it's got to go into the season. You got to show, once the teams start to feel that we're going to be losing games, we're going to be losing fans, we're going to put ourselves dig ourselves a little bit of a hole. That's when players have the most leverage. Sitting out in May, sitting out in June, of course every coach is going to tell you they want you there. They want you to be around the team. It's not realistic, though. You're going to have some guys that are missing. But players, I think now, from the fans' perspective, Mike, being on the outside looking in, I think players are starting to realize how much power that they have, right? Because the last couple years, correct me if I'm wrong, do you remember this many guys ever requesting trades, requesting new contracts? It seems like they're coming in flurries now. You might have heard one or two,
right?
In past years. Oh, this guy wants, okay, whatever. They'll get a fix.
You're not going to like
10,
my
15,
answer.
20 guys. It's just.
It is the NFL following the NBA's lead. And I know you don't like that. But we are in a day and age of player empowerment. It's a copycat ecosystem. And I think NFL players looked at this and went, wait a minute. Our careers are shorter than theirs. Our contracts are not guaranteed. And yet these guys are opting out and going, I want to trade when they just signed 10 minutes ago. Why can't we? And I just think you're seeing the natural progression. I'm not telling you it's right, wrong, or otherwise. I'm making a point. I think it's a direct correlation between how the NBA evolved and it's bleeding down to the NFL.
Yeah, and I think loyalty to teams is gone.
Gone.
There's still some old school guys, don't get me wrong, but I think realistically players nowadays, they look at themselves as an individual business.
Yeah.
What can I do for me that's going to make my life better? How can I take care of myself? And look, I'm not saying that's wrong.
No, it's just a different mindset.
That's where we're at. That's where we're at.
Celebration time in Washington, maybe we'll see. But a local brewery is celebrating. An Old Ox Brewery. They sold a By Dan IPA. Is what they're selling it as. And the slogan on the can says, taste like 23 years of bitterness.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's pretty sweet, right?
Good for them. Look, I don't like that franchise because I grew up a Giants fan and they had some battles. I can just say from a fan level, I'm thrilled for those people because that was a reign of terror. Dan Snyder makes WCF look like Steinbrenner. All right, what Dan Snyder did to that organization, the embarrassment, the off-field antics, the nonsense, the stadium falling apart, good for those fans, and it's good for the NFL. The Washington franchise cannot be a doormat.
And by the way, this place is 1 mile away from the training facility, so I can't wait to see a player just show up in there and drink that By Dan IPA.
Good for them.
Good for you.
Then let's close it out with this because it is unofficially official. Bryce Young has canceled all his other pre-draft visits.
Yeah.
And on DraftKings, it is now minus 1,000.
He's
for him
going to
be the
Carolina.
number 1 overall pick.
And you know what? It's the right pick because here's the deal. I understand Cookies like Stroud. Apparently, TJ's becoming a big OSU fan. Bryce Young has a toughness about him. Now, his size, he's tiny. But bottom line, he's been in these wars. He doesn't flinch. He makes unbelievable throws under duress. And he did it this year with no NFL receivers and the worst Alabama O-line I've seen in a decade.
Yeah.
From a battle-tested standpoint. And here's what I like. And, TJ, I can't speak to it. I'm just telling you what I'm reading. He is one of the most intelligent, game theory, coverage recognition. He's just a Jedi. And I value that if I'm taking a kid number 1 overall.
Yeah, that would be the right pick. for Carolina. He's a tough SOB. He's everything you want.
And
from a
Frank
quarterback.
Reich gets to just build from day one with a guy who's intelligent.
And the guy, sure, size a little bit of a concern. Sure, maybe. No pun intended. No pun intended. But this guy played in the SEC. Okay, this guy's playing against Jalen Carters of the world, the Jordan Davises of the world, 7 offensive linemen in front of you, right? It's not
we're
like
on the heels of Kyler, and we have to be fair. Tua,
Drew
we
Brees,
have to be fair.
Russell Wilson. These aren't big guys.
I know. It's a little scary.
It is a concern, but let's not act like the NFL has guys that are 10 inches taller than what he faced in the SEC
it's
in Alabama.
Equally,
right?
we don't have a lot of Trevor Lawrences running around at 6'6", 230, so that's fair.
Yes.
That is In Football Today, brought to you by Comfortable Shoes.